I mean, you can't go to Louisiana without going to New Orleans. We went to one of my bucket list record stores. Let's check it out. We went to Peaches Records and Tapes. Now, before we get started on our experience, let's get a little history.
History with vinyl reckoning, dive back in time.
Peaches Records and Tapes opened its first 2 locations in 1975, one in California and one in Atlanta. At its peak, Peaches had 50 stores in 22 cities with over 2,000 employees.
Wow.
In June 1981, they filed for Chapter 11, and there was only 1 store remaining. So we decided to spend the day in New Orleans with my family. It was the first time they had ever been there. Before we met up with them, we went to something I could not stop talking about even before we flew out to Louisiana. I finally got to go to Peaches.
Peaches.
So the one thing I was definitely confused about was I had visited New Orleans tons of times. And I've been to Magazine Street tons of times. And I was so confused as to why I never noticed
Peaches
there because the last time I was in New Orleans was before 2016.
Same.
So I was like, how did I drive by this street and never visit this store?
I think it moved.
Now, this wasn't a big deal for you because you kind of grew up going to Peaches.
Yeah, almost any time I would go to New Orleans. Can we talk about when we first pulled up, like how great the parking was? We just parked right out front. The parking at the old location was pretty brutal.
First thing I was blown away by was the immediate vastness of the store and how
Yeah.
big it was.
It's so big.
To be fair, it was an old department store, so it makes sense that it would be as large as it is. It's what you would expect from a former chain turned into the last location. Ton of records, CDs, tapes, and little kitschy things,
Yeah,
right?
I love that kind of stuff.
Yeah, see, that's the difference between me and you. I could take it or leave it.
It makes it to where I can spend a whole extra hour in a record store if they have those funny little gifts. and stuff.
Tchotchkes, if you will.
Yeah,
So there's some pros and cons to this store. Definitely more pros than cons.
absolutely.
You could find any record you could imagine at this store, from like rare to new to used. Everything was at your fingertips.
Yeah.
In full honesty, this is one of the most expensive record stores we've ever been to.
Absolutely.
I understand that the price of vinyl is going up. It only makes sense, but there wasn't a record under $40 there.
Yeah. I mean, you're in New Orleans, you're on Magazine Street. I get it. It's
Yeah.
like a tourist, attraction almost,
Yeah,
in a sense.
they got us.
A good one.
I've been to a lot of record stores in New Orleans. This is the first one where it just felt like New Orleans,
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
There was so much to look at.
It felt like they were trying to preserve the history of their building, mainly because they kept the Woolworths lunch counter there,
Yeah.
and it looked like it was well preserved.
That was really cool with like the old equipment behind there and stuff. Took me a while, I think, to find something that I wanted, but then I came across this really cool Louisiana wall that just had everything that's from Louisiana, New Orleans, so I knew as soon as I saw that wall, well, this is where I'm getting something from. So I think this one caught my eye. It's called the Ultimate New Orleans Brass Second Line Funk. It's a compilation of, you know, second line bands and really cool.
I think the proceeds of the sales of this record was going to some organization as well, so they're definitely trying to keep music alive. It's New Orleans, it's brass band stuff.
Yep.
It's amazing.
Yeah. I bet it sounds so great. We haven't listened yet, but if you know what New Orleans sounds like.
So normally when I go to record stores in New Orleans, I try to pick up something local, like a second line band or something that you really can't find outside of New Orleans.
Right.
But because you took care of that for us, because, you know, we share a record collection sort of, they're not on the same shelf, I picked up something I hadn't seen in the wild since it came out. The newest Mr. Bungle release, The Raging Wrath of the Easter Bunny demo. I love Mike Patton, can't go wrong. Faith No More, Mr. Bungle, obviously. Plus there's Scott Ian on this one. And who doesn't love Scott Ian? Come on, Anthrax. Nothing but positive things to say about our experience there, truly.
Yeah.
The staff was wonderful.
So nice.
They invited us back for Record Store Day. Unfortunately, we weren't gonna be in
I
town.
know, they had beignets and stuff apparently
Yeah.
during Record Store Day. How fun
Yep.
would that have been? Maybe we'll have to make a trip for Record Store Day in New Orleans one year.
Maybe. So that concludes our short but sweet trip to Louisiana. I had a great time.
Me too. It's like home. I mean,
Well, it is
home for me.
Make sure you check out the links below in the description to follow us on Instagram. You can join as a member where you get exclusive little tidbits of things.
Ooh, and tell us if you've been to Peaches or if you've been to Peaches and any other location Peaches was at.
For Vinyl Reckoning, my name is Matt.
I'm Stacey.
Y'all be easy. Have a good night.
Bye.
All right. In New Orleans,
Good for us.
okay.
Lucky us.
I'm not wearing one
Why aren't you in yours?
because I didn't buy one.
Oh, I thought I bought one.
No.
Dang. Location was pretty brutal.
Yeah?
Yeah. You had to park and like pay and then walk. There was a lot, okay?
There's a ton of it.
There was a whole bunch of stuff.
Well, let's let him.
Stretch.
There he is. Okay.
My puppy. Yeah, you. Okay, so
So I actually hadn't seen what. Nice.
wait.
Get another one.
Yeah, it's in there.
Video over.
Done. It was great.